rights curriculum with a special emphasis on multi-faith education. Hans is coordinator of the Mornington Peninsula Interfaith Network. He's spoken at numerous interfaith events and facilitated several sessions at the Parliament of World Religions in Melbourne in 2009. He's a member of the Australian Government's Religious Interfaith Dialogue and executive member of Religions for Peace Australia. Ladies and gentlemen, Reverend Hans Christiansen.
Thank you very much. And I'd like to start with acknowledging the traditional owners of this land. And I'll explain why I think that is very important. We do that in a second. And I pay my respects to the elders, both past and present. And then I want to give thanks that we're here together on this very special day, a rabbi and a priest and an imam together. I congratulate the organizers of this event. That's really fantastic. We know there is a lot of problems in the world, and we need to get together and talk the talk of peace, talk the talk of justice, and then have a common resolve so we can go out energized to create a better future. And really it starts here. I like what the rabbi said about each individual choosing their own path to either follow the light or the darkness. And for us today, I think we have followed the way of peace by coming together. I think it's wonderful being here, so thank you to the organizers. I want to start my little talk today, and I promise that I will only be 5 minutes, even though it's hard for clerical people to be that short. But I want to quote Psalm 85, which are part of the Hebrew scriptures, but also part of the Christian scriptures. It says, "I will listen for the word of God. Love and truth will meet, justice and peace will kiss." For a Christian, the ideal world is primarily one in which there is peace and justice, love and truth. And we too, like the rabbi, dare to dream of a world that is transformed here, not in heaven. So we need to keep that in mind as I continue on, because I want to speak about prayer. Today, as I was thinking, coming up here, of these words from the Bible, I will listen for the word of God. The movement from prayer into action is very important for us Christians. We talk about contemplation and action, and it is from the place from which we listen deeply that we can move into a more compassionate world. So for us as Christians, we listen to God, we listen to ourselves, and as we move into that daily prayer, we listen to the cries of the world. We listen to the hungry and the desolate. We listen to the indigenous folk of our land who have been marginalized by no fault of their own. We listen to people everywhere where there is problems, and that moves our hearts, and we become more Christ-like, as we say in the Christian church. So the listening deeply for the Word of God. And the Word of God in a Christian sense is not just the Word of God in the Bible, although that is the word with a capital W. The Word of God is also in us, dwelling in our hearts. The Word of God is in nature, dwelling in the forests and the beaches and in the birds. The Word of God is in each other. The Word of God is everywhere, and we can listen to it everywhere. So that is very important for us, to listen to God very deeply. The ideal world is one where we listen. And then out of that listening comes a movement towards action. And a movement towards action, what I want to say today, is that the values of Christianity, compassion, love, forgiveness, truth, justice, are the same in all the Abrahamic faiths. I hope you would agree afterwards when we talk about it. These values are the same, and they're the same in every religion. And every religion has a wisdom path that calls us to become peacemakers. Now, Jesus himself, his last words before he died, in the Garden of Gethsemane to his disciples. So his last words to his disciples were, "Put down your swords," to Peter, who was about to cut the ear off, the Roman soldier who, after the Judas kiss, the betrayer, then he tried to cut him and kill him, and Jesus said, "Put down your sword." Now there are two ways in Christianity to think about peace, and one is what later came, the just war theory, and that has become the dominant one in Christianity. Although my interpretation of Christianity and many, many others, I think it's closer closer to the heart of Jesus is the path of non-violence and pacifism. And I believe we need to hear that today. As a rabbi, an imam, a sheikh, and a priest meet together. The ideal world is one where we will lay down the arms. And laying down the arms for a Christian, called creative non-violence, is not just laying down the arms, the material arms, it's also in our way of acting to one another. It's refusing to go with our own anger, to go with our own small self, but rather to seek to always move into the understanding of the other. To refuse to move with anger, but to always try to be in the understanding of the other. Now that is a very deep way to live, and we always fail doing that. And I'm a real big believer in nonviolence, and I fail in my family every day. I've got 2 little children, and I work with children. I don't know how it came to be, and young people, and they drive me nuts from time to time. But that is the reality. And the reality, I was thinking too of forgiveness, that wonderful value. Forgiving every day we pick up, and we say words of forgiveness to each other. And yesterday my colleague came into my office. One in this audience brought my wife a gift, it was very sweet. And the other guy, the computer guy in my office, he had he thought himself, I was away, he had been a bit nasty to her by not really acknowledging her. And so he came to me, can you please ask her to forgive me? And I said to him, this is the most beautiful way to live. That you've come, maybe it meant nothing to this woman who bought the cake, but just the very act of just seeking forgiveness. And that was a way of living a non-violent way, I thought, instead of trying to keep at each other, and it can develop into this huge thing. And ladies and gentlemen, the world is in flames as we speak. Not only in Israel, Palestine. I know it's a very tense issue to speak about, but given that we are an imam, a priest, and a Jew together, hasn't the time come, at least for Christians, where we must lay